Hi everyone, my name is Madison. My parents raised me as a boy, all because they wanted me to be strong. They made it work, except it didn't work out the way they wanted it to. So you'll never see me in high heels, in a beautiful dress, with my hair loose, walking so lightly. Yeah, that's me. Hey fellas, it's me, Mad, and I have hair just like my dad, even shorter. For as long as I can remember, I've always worn pants. Shorts below my knees in the summer, a white t-shirt, a shirt, and my favorite sneakers. Why did it go this way? My parents are quite elderly. They got married late, after they were 40, and then they had me. My father always wanted to have a son to pass on his legacy to, as he said. What, you thought it was business or some kind of securities? No, by legacy, my father meant his apple orchard. He had been growing apples since he was a kid, and then the fruit was sold to some local growers to make juice. I hated apple juice since I was a kid. It gives me heartburn. My dad, on the other hand, is a fan, not just of the drink, but of the whole business. He loves his garden more than me and my mom. It's understandable. He has over 200 trees in his garden, and he planted every one of them himself. As a kid, Dad was good friends with planting, and then he planted his first tree, next to our house. When it matured, Dad decided to plant an entire garden. There was empty land in the fields nearby. The soil there was unusable, but Dad cured it somehow, and then apples started to grow. Dad taught himself everything. Due to the fact that the work was seasonal, but there was a lot of it, almost all year round, care was needed. That's why my father found my mother so late in life, and she came to him to buy apples for her compote. That's how they met. Dad grew apples for juice, and Mom made homemade compote. It was more than just a job. This orchard was where their whole lives flowed. It was a legacy Dad dreamed of passing on to his son, to have male hands working there to keep the business alive. Dad had little faith in the power of the female sex. Mom, because of her age, had a hard time getting pregnant, and then she went for a sonogram. It was a miserable day for Dad, but there was nothing to do about it. I think if they'd been younger, they would have removed the fetus. I'm not sure, though. I was named Madison after my mother's grandmother. They say my grandmother was a fighter, the best mechanic in the neighborhood. But when I was born, my mom kept worrying that my dad wouldn't pay me the attention I deserved. It turned out to be exactly the opposite. Dad often took me with him to the orchard, where I helped him pick apples, water, fertilize, and remove pests from the trees. It seemed to me that there was no other life. It was always like that when I was a kid. My dad and I came up with a lot of interesting topics in common. Apples and juices, to be exact. Dad knew all about it, and unnoticed, even to himself, he passed on his knowledge to me. I absorbed everything like a sponge and did as he said. The story that he wanted a son was also told me by kind relatives. They didn't mean it out of spite, they said it with a laugh and liked to show me that his daughter had grown up no worse than the boys, the short-haired one, always with dirty feet and chewed fingernails. Dad took offense at them, telling me affectionately, "Don't listen to those jerks. They don't know anything." I must admit, those words encouraged me, and I tried more and more to please my father, to replace his son. When he was angry, I was sure that if I had been born a boy, things would have been different. Silly girl. "Daughter, bring me that box over there. I need to sort the apples." "Okay, Dad." I climbed up and realized the crate was too heavy. "What is it?" "Sorry, Dad, it's too heavy." Oh man, girls are useless. He only said that phrase once, and I remembered it for the rest of my life. After that incident, I took any physical work to get stronger. After 3 years, my biceps and triceps had noticeably grown. My chest had shrunk, my neck was thicker, my shoulders were wider. You couldn't tell that I was a girl from the back, but my dad was so happy that I was right there in every job and handled everything very easily. My mother would sometimes ask me, "How are things with the boys? Do you like anybody?" And I didn't know what to answer because basically I never asked myself that. Until one day I took apples to the next town. "We have a new customer. It's the same firm, only the old owner has been replaced by her daughter, Gabriel. She's got all the paperwork, but don't forget the invoice, okay?" "Yes, sir." I drove in my dad's pickup truck, crates in the trunk, Ed Sheeran's playlist blasting. I didn't expect any developments until I got to the place. In front of the house on a nice, cozy porch sat a girl with bare feet in a yellow dress and a blue hat. She was listening to something on her headphones and looking up at the sky while sipping her apple juice. I coughed as I approached, but she didn't see me, so I took a step forward. Excuse me? Huh? Oh, I'm sorry. You must be Madison. You can call me Mad. She held out her thin hand for a handshake. Her skin was so delicate, I was afraid it would break. I shook it, and it threw me into a sweat. I don't understand what this is about, I asked myself, aloud. Excuse me? Huh? Oh, I was just talking to myself. And you must be... Oh, I'm Gabriella. Or Gabriel. I prefer the first one. Would you like some apple juice? Yeah, I love apple juice. Wow, people don't usually eat or drink what they make, but I do. I respect that quality in you. She took a jug, poured me juice, and kept talking about her love for her own labor. And I just watched her movements, her face, her lips. I asked, how many cases this time? Yes, just a minute. We got things sorted out, and I had to leave. And for some reason, I didn't want to. After somehow saying goodbye to her, I sat down at the wheel and took off. I drove all the way without music. I wanted silence. I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't talk to my parents most of the day, which wasn't like me. I was dumb, distracted. After lunch, my mom came up to me. Is everything okay, daughter? Huh? Yeah, I'll do it, Mom. Is there anything you want to talk about? No, it's okay. Why? It's hard not to see the look on one's face when you're in love. In love? I've been living in this world for years. Not to notice your daughter's face in love would be a big miss. Would you care to share with me? Who is he? Him? Yeah, your lover. And then it hit me. After all, I couldn't tell my mother that it was Gabriella. I couldn't tell my father about her. I couldn't confess my feelings for her. After all, I felt worse and sadder, so I just went to my room. For more than a week, I was withdrawn. Then my father sent me back to Gabby. In my mind, I was already calling her something else. I was so worried. My palms were sweating on the wheel. Gabby met me with another glass of juice, which I only drank because she poured it. We chatted for an hour, and the time flew by so fast. From that minute on, I was looking to see her, and would leave an excuse on purpose to come back. A document, a box, or something else. Gabby would call me, and I would come back right away. It went on like that for most of the fall. And then in the winter, I realized I wouldn't have an excuse, and I was very sad. Gabby noticed it. Why are you so sad? No, it's just that this is the last time I'll be visiting you for work this year. For work, yes, but you can come here for other reasons. What do you mean? Then Gabby kissed me. I wasn't expecting it. I freaked out and pulled away. Oh, I'm sorry, I must have misunderstood you. No, it's fine. It's just... Is it your first time? Yeah. And she kissed me again. It was so exciting. I knew I was falling even more in love with her. What the fuck is this? Came a shout from her mother. Mrs. Sprout was full of anger. She immediately kicked me out, locked Gabby in the house, and called my father. When I got home, he was as red as a tomato. You've decided to embarrass me for good, with the daughter of our clients. You're crazy. Who raised you like this? He yelled, and I stood there staring at my feet. That's it. Now I'm a disgrace to the family for ages. I will be abandoned. I'm no longer needed, I thought. Suddenly, my mother's voice came from behind me. We raised her. What the hell are you talking about? Isn't it so? You wanted a son. You wanted a more masculine daughter. You wanted her to be strong, to pull crates, to drive your pickup truck. And when it comes to love, you jump right back? Daddy didn't say anything. Does that make it worse? She's been around since childhood. She's been trying to please you, to do what you like. Let her make her own choices. Choose what she really likes, without your judgment and bias for once. She is my daughter, and I love her just the way she is, and I don't care who she loves, as long as she's happy with that person. Mom! I hugged her and cried. It was so important for me to hear those words from her. Daddy went silently into the house then. He didn't speak to me for a couple of days, but then he apologized. Mom talked to Gabby's mom. She'd kind of cooled down too. We were allowed to talk, but not in front of them. We were fine with that. What would you have done?